Have you ever wondered why we have seasons, or how the ancient Greeks explained the cycle of growth and decay in nature? Today we're going to introduce you to Demeter, the ancient Greek goddess who held sway over the bountiful earth. Predominantly known as the goddess of agriculture, fertility, and harvest, Demeter was revered in Greek mythology for her power to bring forth life from the soil. In the grand tapestry of Greek mythology, Demeter's significance is profound. She played a crucial role in the changing seasons, and through her, the ancient Greeks found an explanation for the cyclical patterns they observed in nature. Her story isn't just about plants and harvests, though. It's a tale of maternal love, loss, and the relentless pursuit of reunion. The story of Demeter and her daughter Persephone explains the cycle of life, death, and rebirth in nature. Let's delve into this fascinating myth. It all began when Hades, the god of the underworld, set his eyes on the beautiful Persephone. Enthralled by her grace and innocence, Hades found himself longing for the youthful goddess, a stark contrast to the somber realm he ruled. This is where our tale takes a dark turn. One fateful day, as Persephone was picking flowers in a meadow, the ground beneath her feet cracked open. Out of this gaping chasm, Hades emerged in his dark chariot, snatching the frightened goddess and disappearing back into the underworld before anyone could react. Now, in the underworld, the law was absolute. Anyone who consumed food or drink would be bound to stay there forever. Hades, cunning as he was, tricked Persephone into eating 4 pomegranate seeds. Unbeknownst to her, this act sealed her fate, binding her to the underworld for a part of each year. Meanwhile, back on the surface, Demeter was frantic. Her beloved daughter had vanished without a trace. She could sense something was amiss, her motherly intuition piercing through the veil of ignorance. Her heart heavy with dread, she set out on a desperate search, leaving no stone unturned. Yet it was not until she heard the piercing cries of the nymph Cyane, a witness to the abduction, that Demeter learned of Hades' treachery. The knowledge of her daughter's fate struck Demeter like a thunderbolt, her heart torn between relief at knowing Persephone's whereabouts and despair at the cruel trick that had been played on her. With her daughter gone, Demeter's grief was immense and all-encompassing. The world, once vibrant and full of life, now mirrored the goddess's sorrow. As we shall see, this grief would not only shape the fate of Persephone but also the very cycle of life and death on Earth. Demeter's sorrow was so profound that it affected the very fabric of life on Earth. The moment Persephone vanished, Demeter's heart plunged into despair. In her grief, the land mirrored her sorrow. Crops withered, trees lost their leaves, and the once fertile earth became barren and lifeless. It was as if the world itself was mourning with her, sharing in the unbearable pain of a mother's loss. Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, was so consumed by her grief that she neglected her divine duties. Fields that once overflowed with golden grains were now lifeless, the soil as cold and unyielding as stone. The world found itself in the grip of an endless winter, a cold reflection of Demeter's icy despair. The goddess's grief was not silent, it echoed throughout the heavens and the earth, a resounding testament to her unbearable pain. Her cries were so anguished, so heart-wrenching, that they touched the hearts of mortal and immortal beings alike. Even the most hardened hearts couldn't remain indifferent to her sorrow. But it wasn't just sorrow that Demeter felt, it was also rage. A fierce, burning wrath against Hades for stealing her precious daughter and against Zeus for permitting such an act. This wrath, as powerful as her grief, was so intense it shook the very foundations of Olympus. The impact of Demeter's wrath was felt by all. Humanity, caught in the crossfire of divine conflict, suffered greatly. Famine spread across the lands as the crops failed. Men, women, and children starved, their pleas for mercy reaching up to the heavens, only to fall on deaf ears. Even the gods were not spared. They found their celestial feasts lacking, for without the fruits of the earth, their tables were as barren as the mortal world below. But Demeter's wrath was not aimless. It was a call to action, a catalyst for her relentless search for Persephone. Her love for her daughter was stronger than her grief, stronger than her wrath. It was this love that drove her, that gave her the strength to confront the gods, to challenge the status quo. In her despair, Demeter set out on a desperate search for her lost daughter. With a mother's determination, Demeter scoured the earth, refusing to let the crops grow until Persephone was returned. Such was the depth of Demeter's love and grief for her daughter. The world was held hostage, the once fertile lands standing barren as the goddess of the harvest withheld her blessings. Demeter, in her sorrow, was relentless. She row European the earth, her heart heavy with loss, her mind consumed with one purpose: to reunite with her beloved Persephone. She searched high and low, leaving no stone unturned, her determination unyielding. The world watched in silent anticipation, the once vibrant fields now desolate, waiting for the return of their life-giver. Meanwhile, in the depths of the underworld, Persephone was not entirely lost. Hades, god of the underworld, had taken Persephone as his queen, yet he was not entirely unkind. He granted Persephone the right to return to her mother, but there was a catch. Persephone had eaten the seeds of a pomegranate, a fruit of the underworld, binding her to spend part of the year with Hades. With the intervention of Zeus, the king of the gods, a compromise was reached. Persephone would spend 1/3 of the year in the underworld with Hades, and the rest of the year, she would return to her mother. Demeter, although not entirely pleased with this arrangement, accepted the terms for the sake of her daughter. And so, when Persephone returned to her mother, Demeter's joy was so great that the earth bloomed in celebration, marking the arrival of spring. The crops grew, the flowers bloomed, and the world rejoiced in the rebirth of life. But when the time came for Persephone to return to the underworld, Demeter's grief once again took hold, the earth withering in resonance with her sorrow, marking the onset of winter. And thus the cycle of the seasons was born. Every spring signified the reunion of Demeter and Persephone, and every winter their parting, a poignant reminder of the enduring bond between a mother and her daughter. Demeter's story is not just a tale of a mother's love and grief, it carries deep symbolic meanings and has left a lasting legacy. The myth of Demeter and Persephone brims with symbolism. At its core, it's a poignant depiction of maternal love. Demeter's relentless search for Persephone and her refusal to let the earth bear fruit until her daughter was returned underscores the depth of a mother's love and her fierce protective instinct. But beyond this, the myth also symbolizes the cyclical nature of life and the seasons. With Persephone's return from the underworld, spring arrives and life blossoms. Her departure back to Hades signifies the onset of winter, a time of dormancy and seeming death. This cycle, repeated year after year, mirrors the life-death-rebirth cycle that's integral to agriculture, reinforcing Demeter's role as the goddess of the harvest. The myth also resonated deeply with the ancient Greeks, leading to the creation of the Eleusinian Mysteries. This was an ancient cult dedicated to Demeter and Persephone, where initiates participated in secretive rituals believed to guarantee a blissful afterlife. These rites, shrouded in secrecy, were some of the most sacred and revered in ancient Greece, illustrating the profound impact of Demeter and Persephone's story on the society of the time. The legacy of Demeter extends far beyond the confines of ancient Greece, though. Her influence can be seen in art and literature throughout the centuries. From classical Greek statues and Roman mosaics depicting her sorrow and joy, to modern-day novels and poems exploring her tale from fresh perspectives, Demeter's presence is palpable. Her story continues to inspire and captivate, a testament to its enduring relevance and appeal. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Demeter lies in the very fabric of our daily lives. Every time we witness the change of seasons, every time we see a seed sprout into a plant, every time we experience the bounty of a harvest, Demeter's influence is there. She embodies the nurturing aspect of nature, reminding us of the cycles of growth and decay, birth and death, that are an intrinsic part of life on Earth. Through her myth, we're invited to appreciate the simple yet profound miracles of nature, the cycles that sustain us, and the indomitable spirit of a mother's love. And in this way, Demeter's legacy continues to thrive, woven into the rhythms of the natural world and the human heart. So the next time you witness the change of seasons, remember the tale of Demeter and Persephone, a testament to a mother's love and the cycles of nature.